A few months ago, an eminent Polish astronomer published an essay in which he stated that, according to him, modern physics is much closer to God than physics of the 19th century, and that for him, belief in God is only rational. He sees it in the laws of the universe, in the fact that the universe is governed by mathematical laws. He states that the foundation of rationalism is that every effect has a cause, so there had to be the primary cause for all the laws for the Big Bang, that the recent developments of quantum theory prove free will, that the quantum uncertainty principle is the place to find God, etc. How to discuss, how to debate such kinds of things, because we are used to debating creationists, and it's easy because they talk nonsense. But here you have an eminent physicist with major papers under his belt telling us that maybe we are atheists because we are too stupid to understand quantum physics. How would you answer him?
Does this work? Is the microphone working? Well, certainly it's a lot easier to reply to theists who use biology than who use physics. That was the opposite of what William Paley in the 18th century thought. He thought that biology was the best place to prove natural theology, and physics was yes, that's right, physics was harder. I think that point of view you just described is an utter betrayal of everything that science stands for. In the business, especially my field of evolution, we are in the business of explaining complexity in terms of simplicity. So in evolution, we start with primeval simplicity. We start with a self-replicating molecule. That's complex enough, but it's still very, very simple compared to the complexity of all of us and everything else that we see around us. So our science is in the business of explaining the difficult to understand, which is complex, in terms of the relatively easy to understand, which is simplicity. Now, if you smuggle in a complex creator at the very outset of the universe, that is a complete and utter betrayal of the whole scientific enterprise. You might as well say we give up, we surrender, we don't understand, therefore God did it. That is cowardice. It is lying down under the problem instead of trying to solve the problem. Now, I'm not a physicist, but I have talked to physicists and I understand the nature of the problem that they face. The origin of the universe, the origin of the laws of physics is not fully understood. Physicists don't understand where the fundamental constants of nature come from, these half dozen or so numbers which physicists can measure, but they don't have an explanation for where they come from. The theist temptation is to say, oh, we don't understand, therefore God made up those constants. It's as though in the origin of the cosmos there were some knobs that you twiddle, like rheostats on a radio set, and you turn them to a particular value. And it is true that if the knobs were twiddled to ever so slightly different from the value that they hold, then the universe as we know it would not come into existence, chemistry would not come into existence, galaxies would not come into existence, life would not come into existence. The universe is fine-tuned as if it knew we were coming. That's the way the theists put it. As I said, that is a cowardly way out. Some physicists say, well, we just don't understand, one day we will, or maybe we will, we hope we will. Other physicists use a rather powerful idea, which is the metaverse, the multiverse, where they postulate on other grounds, not as a device to solve this fine-tuning problem, but on other grounds, to do with the inflationary model, they postulate a multiverse where there are millions of universes, all of which have different values of the fundamental constants, and only a very few of them, because of the fine-tuning argument, only a very few of them have exactly the right values, as it happens, exactly the right values to give rise to galaxies and chemistry and life and so on. And obviously, this is the anthropic principle, obviously we have to be living in one of that minority of universes in which the fundamental constants are correctly set. So there is no divine knob-twiddler who's setting these constants to exactly the right values. We live in the kind of universe that could give rise to us because we are here. That's the anthropic principle. So I return to my original statement. The physicist you're talking about is an intellectual coward.
I agree. And also